You want to move like a human. That's not just training. It was actually never really about training in and of itself, which is, ultimately what I kind of came on the internet and became known for. But really moving like a human is moving in all of the different ways that humans behave naturally and in relationship with the natural environment and with each other. Humans and nature are long form. They're slow. They're emergent and complex and nuanced, and none of that is translated in short form content, in my opinion. And I feel like short form content in general is like a plague on human attention. And human attention is what makes being a conscious two-legged such a magical thing. And I feel like without the ability to be deeply present and aware in what we're doing, which is a skill, which is cultivated and maintained or lost through doom scrolling and shit like this, then it's very easy to miss this magic that's underlying everything, regardless of where you're at. Yeah. And I feel like there's never been a more important time than now in human history to re-inspire and reinvigorate not just human movement in its natural form, in engagement with the landscape, but reinvigorate all the human behaviors that make us unique and give us that deep sense of belonging on this planet. Yeah. And that's why this channel is a lot bigger than me. And it's about you. It's about all the friends in our epic extended community that have such amazing skills, hard and soft, that as a whole build out this unique architecture of the human animal, which has developed for so long. And so I don't want these things to get lost. Yeah. I don't want these hard and soft skills that humanize us to be lost. And there's such a deep sense of there's like an epidemic of lack of belonging. How do you even say that? It's like people don't feel at home on the planet. People don't know where they fit into the world. It's just like, and none of it makes sense. And I feel like that's a natural response to a sick society. We've inherited a world that has us cornered in having to make choices that dehumanize us. Yeah. The world that is built on exploiting natural resources and the human spirit for profits for a very small few has us not even, like, where's even the space to do these things, like make a basket? Like, people are trying to eat, right? And so we have to keep the seeds alive no matter what. Even though it feels the darkest ever, it's doomsday. Mm-hmm. And I feel that in a lot of ways. It doesn't matter. And I feel like, especially in the West, like, we've been so privileged to not experience that darkness that so many other cultures have experienced at different times in history. And now it's like everything's kind of starting to creep into everyone's front yard. And now more than ever, we have to live beautifully and create and share cooperatively. Yeah. It always was the answer, and it is the balm for the sickness of modernity, in my opinion. Are we going to face even darker and darker times? It's very possible. Yeah. And what do? We've survived as a species ice ages, hunting woolly mammoths with spears. Yeah. I always say, it's like, your ancestors didn't do that just to have you rolled over now. We have to keep living beautifully now and forever. Mm-hmm. You know, like, you read the stories of Martin Prechtal and like the people of Guatemala, the Tzotzil of Guatemala, and like the extermination that was happening, the volcanoes, like you still have to keep those seeds alive. You still have to keep the seeds of life alive. Yeah. Even if we are simply just handing the seeds to the next generation, we might not see any kind of revolution in our time, but we have to just keep the seeds and pass them on. And so these skills that we're going to be learning and exploring on the channel, making baskets, processing animals, tanning hides, making things out of leather,
making your own things.
Making your own things, engaging with the things that feed you, right? Because it's like the plants feed the animals feed us. Like the plants are the real gods. You know what I mean? They are what is feeding us ultimately. The sun is feeding everything, right? So like entering into relationship with that which feeds us brings a deep sense of place, a deep sense of belonging, and you start to not feel like an alien on the planet. You know, I'm always laughing, like you go out and hike in public land somewhere and you see people and they're just like towed ahead in polyester. They look like astronauts, you know, walking, and they're just like, you know, in and out and then back into their world that's just so removed from nature. And so I'm trying to encourage people to take the small steps, stepping towards the natural habitat so that you can find your sense of place here. And when you feel a sense of belonging in the natural world, you want to protect it. You realize that like a chat GPT like prompt that's going to like drain 10 pools worth of water out of the local, you know, or some poor rural colored community's watershed, like it's not worth it, right? Because we need to live for our great grandbabies. What's the world that our great grandbabies are going to inherit? And as you go around and you start to learn, which we'll do with James actually, because he's specializes in so many things, but in actually like relationship with the plants and everything in the environment like that, like the subtleties of that. When you start to recognize the plant beings and you see them and you know their name and you know who they feed and you know their life cycles and how they're responding to the weather and all these different things, you don't feel like an alien. Like I recognize my environment and I feel a sense of home. And so it feels like for me to be in integrity with creating content on the internet, I have to branch it out into all the aspects of like, you want to move like a human. That's not just training. It was actually never really about training in and of itself, which is, you know, ultimately what I kind of came on the internet and became known for. But really moving like a human is moving in all of the different ways that humans behave naturally and in relationship with the natural environment and with each other. Humans as a part of nature, not as something that just recreates within nature and then goes back to living separate from nature. And I think that a lot of people don't have the opportunity, the privilege to go to these skill shares, to drop a week of work. And the people who have these teachings, who know how to make things, how to remember to be human, we need to come together and share this and keep the seeds alive. We have to keep the seeds alive. And so this is going to be my best attempt at doing that.